Anyway, what's up, Ooze
ADHD.
heads? What's up?
Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry.
Okay, what's up, Ooze heads? What's up, gaggers? This is Gag and Ooze, the podcast. That's right, the one-stop shop for all topics worth listening to. And today we are going to cover everything that the government's trying to hide from you. Part two, basically, but this might go up first. Listen, we got beautiful fucking things in the works. All right. Um, Gage, you got topics prepared? You just don't care, cuz.
I woke up like 30 minutes ago. I thought you I thought you had topics. I
I
thought
mean,
you
I
were writing
do,
a
but I'm just
notepad.
saying. I
You
do
know
have
how
a
to
notepad, but
yap.
nothing crazy.
I'll make
For
topics
the
next time.
people listening, by the way, it's 8 p.m. Uh, he just woke up 30 hours ago. It's 8 p.m.
It's
But
not Gage's gag, okay?
sorry. The E's silent. I gotta remember that. What's up, gaggers? What's up, ooze heads? All right, let's get into it. Let's get into it. So, Gag, you discussed with me before. You have seen a UFO. You said it was metallic. What would it look like?
Uh I would say it probably was metallic. The issue is like it was so far in the distance in the sky that like it was impossible to say like what exactly the material was. I just assumed metallic because it was like shiny in a sense. Like it literally
Yeah.
looked like a someone. It wasn't a laser pointer, but it kind of looked like a laser pointer was just being like flashed in the sky. But you could clearly tell it wasn't like a laser pointer because nothing was
So it
getting
was
hit.
like it's like basically you play a Warzone and there's a sniper in a cloud aiming at you and you see that little like a
Yeah,
lens
something
flare
like
through it.
that. Yeah, but it wasn't like super shiny. Like again, no one around me even fucking saw it. Like I was standing in Denver Union Station, just like, just looking at it, like, what am I seeing? And then it like
Right
zipped
above the
off.
airport, I bet too. That's a crazy part.
It could have been. It could have been.
Listen, I think that's interesting because I've done a lot of research on the subject,
Mm-hmm.
as you know. Um, and basically I did not think through how hard it'd be to see past this damn nose. Basically, I have like three categories for these shits, and yours is interesting because for yours, I feel like they're like metallic, like they're metal UFOs, right?
Mm-hmm.
'Cause they're shiny, and that's usually how it is, and that's usually what like I feel like the experimental crafts end up being. Like I think it was back in like the '80s or whatever. People were seeing the triangles, and then we released like those stealth bombers that look like Star Wars ships. I say so. I think it's stuff like that, just propulsion stuff. We're not being honest about. But they always come with like different. Like they're always either like a tic tac. I think that's why people think they saw flying saucers back in the day. Is because that's what you would see in movies. It's just like a tic tac. It's kind of like a plate shape. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like how they saw it. Because those like ovular metal ones, those are like the actual confirmed UAPs that like Senate holds hearings about and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like those are the fuckers. It's crazy too because they're parked outside of like nuclear plants and military bases, but like literally the worst places for some shit you can't identify to be. Except for yours, cause yours is at Denver Union Station.
Yeah. I saw it from there. But again, the
Hey
airport
man,
is sort of close, so close enough that I could probably see above the sky. Yeah. So could have been there.
oh shit, I'll hear that. Well, oh, what are your anniversary of this podcast? We're going to Denver Airport. We're getting into the tunnels.
Oh, we'll die. They'll kill
This is
us.
not allegedly, by the way. 100% honest.
They will fucking
Um,
kill us.
who?
They.
Cause
I don't know who they is, but they'll
I'll
fucking kill
teleport
us.
behind them. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
No, but you don't
They'll
think our
clone
raw
us.
power alone would be able to take on TSA, like the Illuminati, the Freemasons, the people like them? I don't know, cuz. What would you power scale yourself at? Do you think you're like planet level or like galaxy level or like state level?
Galaxy level, yeah.
Galaxy level?
Yeah.
So, so when you saw that UFO, you were pissed, dude. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
this is my galaxy.
Yeah.
You're, you
This
were
is
ready
my
to go.
domain. What the fuck are you guys doing here?
Absolutely.
It wasn't even aliens. It was the fucking government. Like, that's my sky. Okay.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, shit, dude. All that drone stuff that happened. My honest to God theory about that shit is that it was like private drones, but the reason why people were confused and not able to find out like who they belonged to is because I genuinely think like right before the election, like very powerful people are like moving their shit around secretly. That's my honest theory about the drones. I think it was essentially like millionaire 18 wheelers just putting assets everywhere. They didn't want people to talk about it because they don't trust who's about to be looking at all that stuff. That's what I think. Like, what did you think the drones were? Do you think it was hype?
Which
Do you think
ones?
gag? Do you remember like last year all the drones people kept seeing?
I actually don't think. I remember the
What?
balloons and shit, but I don't think I remember the
It
drones.
was like right after the spy balloon,
Okay.
I think. Maybe no, I think it was a good bit later.
Yeah, I
But
think
yeah,
so
it was
too. But
like
yeah, no, I don't think I knew about it.
even the White House was like, "We do not know what it is, but you shouldn't be worried." Okay. And I remember people were like talking to like national security about it. Like, is this a threat? And they're like, no reason to believe it's a threat. And they're like, well, what is it? And they're like, we don't
Yeah, it's just not a threat. Oh, okay.
know. We know one thing, it's okay.
Yeah. It's actually awesome that there's drones everywhere. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, actually, you should feel more comfortable about that.
Yeah.
100%.
But they're not
But no,
lying
the
to
other
us.
cat. No, because here's the thing. They're being honest. They don't know. So they don't know. They don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, there are three categories. Like I said, we went over the metal ones. We both believe those are like secret government projects. The one I saw was orbs. They were green. This was over the swamp. And when I used to talk about it, I used to say they ducked under the tree line, but in retrospect, they probably just like went further away. You know, looked like they went under the tree line because in my perspective, they went past the horizon. So it probably looked like they went down when really they just went like away. And what I think is interesting is those color like orbs one are honestly like pulled into like other mythologies. And I wonder if those things the idea of an orb is just so basic, like a glowing ball of light that just shows up in a bunch of shit. You know what I mean? Because it could have been a government test too, and it just lights up for some reason, right? I don't know. It's hard for me to think they would put bright lights on a secret vehicle. I feel like we have the technology for people to drive at night, you know?
Especially those things.
Yeah, like it made no sound at all. It was spinning fast as fuck and it ducked away. Because I should have heard it. I can tell you that. Because
Yeah.
I've seen spotlights get shined down from helicopters like almost every day. And you could tell that they're close and you can hear them really well. You know what I mean? So like I could tell the distance of like the lights and shit, and I could tell it was up there. You know, that shit is just so weird. Talk about is I call them esoterics because these feel like less of work of from aliens, less work of like the government, more like work of like sorcerers. like so basically, there's an alleged UFO that the Nazis had called the Die Glock, which is the bell in German, and it's basically just a church bell with a swastika on it from the drawings that people have seen. And again, it's alleged, but the idea is that the Nazis had this secret vehicle of propulsion. And when it would turn on, it was chained down. And when it would turn on, it would fly sporadically And the way the legend goes is they never really could figure out how to control it. So they like just ended up destroying it or some shit like that. Now, I think this is interesting is because I want to say in the 60s, but in Kecksburg, Pennsylvania, there was another UFO, and people call it the acorn, right? What I think is interesting about it is like when you see like alleged drawings of the like the it. And the recreation of the Kecksburg UFO is like an acorn where like the top of the acorn would be on the bottom, like basically an upside down acorn with writing on the bottom of it. 65. And that's not like a legend. That was from all over Lake Erie from the Canada side to Pittsburgh. Radio stations were like broadcasting like there's a fireball in the sky. And then it crashed in the Chestnut Ridge mountain range. Like that is like documented fact, and it is documented that the military went there to see what happened very quickly. But after that, the legend goes people saw the acorn on a flatbed truck, and then after that, cause like Bigfoot sightings and all these weird cryptid sightings, but like a lot of them would be like the red light they would see when they saw the UFO first, and then they would start seeing these creatures, cause like these red glowing eyes. And I just think that's interesting because it feels like such a weird coincidence that these like supposed chaotic objects that fly really weird, like we can't understand these like esoteric objects because it's not like it was like a craft or like a spaceship. Like it's just like a metal almost obelisk. You know what I'm saying? You know what
Why
I'm saying? Cause
why do you hate on people like Fish, another co-host of mine, that say, all these government buildings are part of the ley lines and they were actually discovered, not built. But then you'd be talking about obelisks that fly.
hello, 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 hello.
What's up?
Okay. You got cut off at ley lines.
Why do you talk your shit about ley lines and the buildings are always here and they're connected to them when you believe in obelisks that fly?
Well, for the simple fact that they're not made out of wood and like plaster, insulation. The simple fact that they look like buildings that were being built by British people already. Um, I don't, it's kind of unfair too because like I took an art history class, so like I could kind of like understand how Western architectures copied like random ass civilizations and shit like that. But this shit, look, I'm not saying I believe that there is fucking like monsters, but I think the mythology of it's just really interesting. And who's to say there wasn't a bell-shaped object that fell through the sky and fell down? I mean, there was a fireball, right? And people felt the impact, and that part is documented. So I think it's interesting. And I think the idea of something of an unknown origin is a lot more plausible than like an alternative history to something that like would it really change anything? Also, I'm not gonna lie, I don't understand what ley lines are.
Oh, me neither. I don't have a single fucking idea.
Is that like energy going through the sky, like channels?
Yeah, I think it's
Like
something
that,
about
or is it like the
energy.
tectonic plates? Like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
Like
know.
I don't know. Or are they built in places of immense spiritual power? Maybe. All right. There's a lot of really weird spiritualism that used to happen. Like a lot of old members of the Vatican were like alchemists and shit. Um, so I could kind of see maybe like some people in higher government back in the day being eccentric in those ways, like not outwardly, but being like, well, spiritually we should build it here. Like I could kind of see that, like some Palpatine shit behind the lines, like you know what I'm saying? Trying to wake up the Sith Lords. I don't believe it though. I don't like. Yeah, first of all, they're made out of wood, like I said, because like it just wouldn't last. This acorn is made out of an alien element, cuz. So it would last. See, that's logic.
Acorn.
Acorn, cuz.
My roommate
But
had an acorn once, and then it grew mold, and he kept it anyway.
but what I did want to say is it's interesting because in that kind of area, in Ohio in 1981, there's a whole book about this entire family that swears up and down that they were visited like nightly by these like shadow creatures with red eyes, and they never made that connection. And I think it's interesting. And I'm not even saying it's true. It could just be people building off of stories, but I think it's cool that like there's almost a timeline of this red fireball from the sky crashing down, and then you get the big Bigfoot spike in like the 70s and stuff, but their brand of it has that same red light, and then that kind of slowly spreads to Ohio. And like I just think, I don't know. Shit, man. I think you're crazy for not believing it. What do you think it was? A meteor?
Do you think, like, the people that say, hey, I'm visited nightly, do you think those people just have, like, undiagnosed schizophrenia or something that gives them psychosis? Or do you think it's
Dude, there's
actually
something
real?
I honestly, this like if I ever made an alien iceberg, this would be on the dead bottom of it.
Okay.
For abductions, what really makes me sad and breaks my heart is I genuinely believe a lot of those people were experiencing a traumatic event and then their brain made up a memory for it.
Hmm.
And that breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Especially like when you think of like probing and stuff, it's like that I probably should be wearing a clown mask for this part, but that shit breaks my heart. Cause it's like you can't even blame the people for doing that as a coping mechanism. So that's what keeps them going. That's what keeps them going.
Yeah.
Who am I to take that away from them? But that part is sad to me. But what makes the night siege so interesting is it was the entire family. And then there was a skeptic brought on, and then he was seeing them too, and they were like all shooting at these creatures. But at the same time, in 1986, I feel no 1981, I feel like they probably could have documented it somehow. That's the book. I don't know, Ohio, they might not have had cameras yet in 1981. You know?
Or maybe some entity or
Oh,
body
true.
of government
True.
took it all.
True. Men in Black. Men in Black.
Yeah.
That actually does take me to the next. Real quick, a point I wanted to bring out was the fun part. I think of those like esoteric, like weird geometric shaped ones is that they would emit a light, right? So hypothetically, that could be what the orbs are too. You just can't see it past the light, and it could be these like really weird propulsion devices. And maybe the hieroglyphics aren't an alien language. Maybe that's just some sort of like coded message, or so like the top secret place could keep an inventory, but it doesn't just say like 1 out of 12. You know what I mean? It'd just be symbolism. But next part I wanted to talk about was the races of aliens, guys. You got your grays, bro, and then you got what I call substance, like bacteria. This I'm pretty sure actually has been kind of proven, but and I wanted to talk about not Earthlings and what you just brought up. Brings me right into that. Gag, what do you think about the Men in Black? You think they ever existed?
Like, are we talking like how similar to how they're portrayed in the movie.
Not the movie. Well,
Okay.
I mean maybe, but no, because even the urban legend isn't like the movie.
So what is the urban legend like? Government
So
people
so
show up to shit.
basically, in the beginning, a lot of UFO witnesses would report that after seeing what they saw and putting it in the paper and shit, that they would be visited by like just pale ass men in suits, like fedora and all that. And you gotta think a lot of these were happening in the '60s and '70s, so that's not even like if you saw someone like two people walking down the street like that, you wouldn't think why do they look like the Hat Man, you know?
True. Yeah. That was the style back then.
But like literally, that's probably like how the FBI dressed,
Yeah.
right? But the what made them off putting is they would make like very thinly veiled threats and just be like, it really would be a shame if something bad happened to you if like you kept talking about that, you know? They would like make really weird threats, and then in some of the cases, people say that they've seen them like their lips, the color will be like out of the lines. You'll see them like smudge like their eyebrows or some shit. So the idea is that they're not even like human. That like the lips and the eyebrows, all that shit is like painted on. And it's just like these weird like I don't know if it's a synth or an alien. But what do you what do you think? Do you think there's stuff like that? Do you think there's people that walk this earth that aren't really like aren't even really Earthlings? Just like observers, but like think about it, cause it would be easy as fuck if you had a flying saucer to just zoop and then get out in like outfit like I'm wearing. Nobody would look at you crazy. You feel me? Like look at me. If you saw me walking down the street, you wouldn't think that's an alien. What if an alien dressed up like me? You
I
think that's
would
possible?
say, I mean, is it possible? I would say maybe, but I think it's
Let's
probably
go.
more likely that if I had to say like sentient aliens or some other creature, I would say I think it's probably more likely that demons exist than aliens. And I'm not like I'm talking like I don't know if I'd say biblical demons, but like agents of evil. I think those probably exist more
All
likely
right,
than
you
aliens.
just did something amazing. You just did something amazing. And who people call the father of modern propulsion, guy who like and there was one day where there was an experiment done and with the government and shit. And this shit's crazy. From what they say, they did this experiment. There was an explosion in the lab, and a demon got let out. And the demon said that thanks to them, they are now able to enter like our dimension, basically. And the idea is, and the thing is, there's drawings of the supposed demon. I'll put it up, but I'm not joking. Apart from having pupils, it's just a gray. That's the craziest fucking part. Is it's just a gray. So there is a very popular theory that like the reason why it's an orb in the sky and so strange, supernatural, is because it's actually just demons that like torture you or whatever or gaslight you.
Yeah.
Personally, though, me, my crazy theory about that whole shit is I think the government wants you to think it's demons because if you're a Christian, you're easier to control. I genuinely believe that. But there's these weird documents that talk about this thing because they're like, listen, people won't think it's aliens if we say it's demons, and then they won't trust those entities ever. You know what I mean? I think it's easier to control people if they think it's demons and they like fully commit to that faith. Because there's one thing the government uses to control unless it's religion and patriotism and like shit like that. Is like the most docile citizen you can have.
Yeah.
So I genuinely really believe that a lot of that demon shit comes from like counterintelligence almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
But then we
think
have the substance.
I think a lot of
Oh no,
those
go ahead.
organizations, like churches, government, I think they've been overtaken by like malicious, evil actors. And no, I see what you're saying. Like, I think it's I think people get the wrong idea that like evil can never enter holy or like just great things. Like whenever we think of the government, we think like the United States of America, we have a great constitution, we have a great government structure. It's one of the best in the world, which I would say it
Yeah.
is.
I mean, honestly, that's honestly like not too crazy to think of. I don't know. I don't know if I'd say it's like an actual demonic force that took them over. I like to bring it back to like alchemism. There was somebody in the Vatican that believed in spiritus, which is like an essence that's not tangible, but it's in everybody. And the more you do good work and holy work to transmute yourself into like a Christ consciousness, the more that spiritus flows through you. But the more like evil you are, I think that's like Azoth. It might just be like you're pushing the spiritus out though. And I could kind of see that like the more you rationalize and like commit to evil behavior, like I think that almost creates a demon. You know what I mean? Especially if it gets to a certain level. Like the average person probably couldn't get to that level, but if you have the money to get away with shit,
Yeah.
you can get there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like your
Like
soul
think
can
about
be
how
so
like
tainted that's like it's just
you're just not human anymore.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. What do you think grays are bullshit though?
Mm, like I said, I mean, I'd have to look more into it, but again, I don't know. I don't
The
know if I
grays thing
believe
is
in.
tough.
I don't believe in aliens. I don't think. I believe in them in the sense that like I'm sure there's life on other planets, but like, do I think they're visiting? Like, I don't think I can get behind that. So if it's true that a gray showed itself, I would assume something biblical rather than alien, but I'm not really sure.
Yeah. I mean, that is also just a common theory in general that they're extra dimensional rather than extraterrestrial. You know what I mean?
I see.
And and in terms of aliens, I think it's more likely that, like you said, there's other ones in space and there's like extra dimensional entities that are that like sentient and composited without anybody being able to see them until they show themselves. You know what I mean? I think it's more likely to honestly believe that there's just like a distant ass place that like fucking was cracked and made some shit that could go fast. You know what I mean? I don't know. I personally, I don't know if I could get behind Grays. There's some convincing ish alien body pictures, but even then, they're usually not like fucking solid gray. Like they're like strange, and it's like those are hard to get behind because it's like I feel like if it was real, I wouldn't be able to see it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that was real. Even if the cover up would be mad public, they would still do it.
Hmm.
Yeah. I like the extra. I like the It's called ultra terrestrial theory, and I need to look more into this because I saw like a little thing about a documentary on it. But underwater UFOs, I think are interesting too because like when you see UFO footage, it usually is someone flying over the ocean. Like when it's
True.
confirmed Pentagon footage, it usually is someone flying over the ocean. So possibly there's some shit we don't understand down there. We can't even get to the bottom of it anyway. And I kind of fuck with that idea. That like is just this extreme scientific discovery that shows itself to a very small few to the point that I don't know. That's what I think it is. I think it's like, is it spiritual? Possibly. I'm not. I'm somebody who's spiritual enough to believe it could be, but it looked like, especially because all of the like the abduction stories is it's a bright light and it's hard to see. Like I think that's brain fog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't think I could get behind Grace either. If they are real and that thing I said about the demon coming out and saying, dude, I need to send you the picture after the podcast of that like demon because it looks like Invader's in with his lenses in. It looks great. I talked to you about this privately, but there's that theory that the meteor that killed the dinosaurs carried the bacteria that we evolved from. Dude, I mean, if little buggies could survive like in a certain state in space, maybe there was some alien shit we came out of. What do you think? You think that's possible?
I think we evolved from fuck ass rats.
But couldn't the rats have evolved from the alien bacteria?
Mm. You
Hey,
might
who's to
be
say it was?
cooking, but I don't know.
It could be fucking. It could be fucking bugs, bro.
Buggies. You're a
Think about
bug.
it. Who said exactly? Could have just been me. Just been me.
I'm sort of buggy.
But if you thought, like, okay, like, say that is true, though, right? Do you think that means there's another planet of us out there that that bacteria like came from, or do you think if that bacteria evolved somewhere else, it's like a completely different being?
I would say probably different because it's my understanding that evolution is also like situational in the sense that like it depends
Right.
on like outside factors too. So like we evolved because monkeys climb trees, so we have thumbs and shit like that. So like I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
think they'd be the same. Maybe
It
they're
would
just
depend on the
gray.
environment.
Maybe they're just gray motherfuckers, you know?
Oh, true. Maybe those gray motherfuckers are like, dude, our ancestors fucking fell off of our planet. It's a crash here, and they came here and like, never mind, dude.
Yeah, we don't fuck
Never
with these people.
mind. Like, we didn't even know you could split an atom. We just never had a reason
Yeah, we just didn't want to
to.
kill a bunch of ourselves, so we didn't even think of that.
Could you imagine? Like an alien fucking beats the president, looks him dead in the eyes, is like, "Why did you do this for money, bro? You could just make money. Like you could print it."
True.
I do like the idea that like this is another thing too. When it comes to piloting these things, a lot of the ideas and evidence point to it's like psychokinetic, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea that like these aliens are almost like minimalist. Like they literally just have the bare minimum of objects, and it's like just max efficiency. But it almost makes you wonder at that point if they're even like conscious, you know, or if they're just like some sort of machine. Like one thing, especially, I didn't put this race in there because look, there's a million different alien races I don't subscribe to, like even being remotely possible. But insectoids, cuz those fuckers, bro. From like the witness accounts, what makes them special, like they're bug people, right? But what makes them special is like they will move in perfect sync. So like they'd be able to like if you threw a tennis ball over a wall and there's like eight of them, they'd be able to bounce that shit around to perfectly ricochet it back to you. You know what I'm saying? So it's moving perfect unison.
Mm-hmm.
Say like this kind of makes you think they're in a hive mind. Do you think a civilization would have to be in a hive mind state to like be able to create something so complex it could like fly through the fucking stars at the speed of light and not like get destroyed? Because like we have wars and shit that constantly set us back. Do you think that comes with free will, or do you think that's just circumstantial to humans?
Hmm. Uh, See, the thing is, I don't know if a hive mind could have the innovation to actually do something like that. I feel like you kind of need free will to be like, you know what, I want to do something
Interesting.
wild. So I don't know if I believe in hive minds. I also don't know how they'd work.
Right.
I think like we're very individualistic in the United States and I guess the West, but like the East is very like communal.
That's
So
true.
it could be something like that.
That's
Like
true.
they just value community over individual. That could be it.
Interesting. So they're just genuinely a more peaceful civilization.
Yeah.
That's not. Unless, of course, they were very committed to destroying a specific group of people.
Yeah, but we overlook that.
We overlook that, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. With their eyes. They would never do such a thing.
Mm-mm.
What else do I have here? Damn. I don't know. Do you think? Okay, let's do a thought experiment. If you were, let's say, part of national security, right? And they are, you get the UFO files, the uncensored UFO files, right? And they tell you that there are aliens and they have very advanced technology. They're able to do a lot, but we still don't know their intentions. Do you bother making that public? Or do you
No.
think it's just best unsaid so we know everything now?
Left it unsaid, yeah.
Honestly, I think I kind of agree.
The
Because I hate
people
when people
people
like
should
they
know
can't
that.
talk about it because of mass thing. Look, people should know that there's UFOs, things you can't explain, because that's just genuine science. But like, if you know for a fact that like a smart motherfucker is piloting that shit, that opens so many different doors of shit to worry about. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I do see what you mean. Yeah, like if I knew there was like an actual effort behind that shit, I'd probably keep that to myself too. But what? Okay, what if you know for sure there's a judgment day? Do you tell anybody or do you just let that shit ride?
Mm, I would probably discuss it, but I mean,
Like
it's
privately or like
I'd
with
probably do it
coworkers?
publicly. I wouldn't care. It's just like Judgment Day. Like,
Coworkers.
what can you really do to like
Like, look, dude, they got
stop
away with it
that?
here
Or
tonight, tomorrow.
yeah,
But would
it's
that be
like
fucked if it was the next day? I'm not gonna lie, bro. You don't even have time to do anything fun. Like you just like you just finna die, bro. Damn. But the craft ones, you say you think it's government. Back to those like the metallic UFOs. You say you think it's government. Whenever we see them outside of air bases, do you think that's the air base just conducting that test, but most of the base isn't allowed to know about it? So like, what the fuck is going on? Or do you think it's a foreign entity?
foreign,
Like
like
it,
other country.
yeah.
Um, I mean, honestly, after the balloons, it really could be any fucking government. But I think it's probably just our government doing shit.
Well, because I mean, especially now with how unregulated and shit like airspace is, I can kind of see it. You know, especially if it's so fast that it's like, even if it did get picked up, what the fuck would they be able to do about it? You know what I mean? It's like zip and then zip. You know what I'm saying? It's like, whoa, see ya, I guess. That's why I think a lot of those might be drones, just taking pictures of like. And that's scary to think about, right? That could those could be drones that are advanced beyond our comprehension, but they're taking pictures for some reason. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if it's nuclear sites and included with the military bases, it's like it could be some spying. You know,
Could be.
I don't know though, because I mean, if the government wants to test something secretly, where do they even do that at? You know, because everyone's looking at Area 51 now. Like I feel like if you want a UFO to be seen, you gotta fly it over Area 51.
Like like I said, whenever I was at Denver Union Station and I saw that shit, no one was looking. I don't even think they try to hide it most of the time. I think they just be doing it, and like if people see it, they're just gonna say, "Well, that person's crazy." Like, oh, why would you
Right.
believe them? Like it's just such an easy like I didn't take pictures
Especially
of it. Like I thought about it, but I didn't want to look like a fucking weirdo taking out my phone in the line and like just taking photos of it or video. Like there's no evidence. Like I could just be making it up, and that's an easy like thing that anyone can say. So,
yeah. I know that's a shame for the podcast is I have a lifelong experience of calling me out, calling me a bug, saying I'm schizo, saying I'm bugging. But then you saw that shit, and that's why I believe you. Is because you wouldn't say that unless you were sure that like that was definitely not no plane or helicopter, bro.
oh
Shit
yeah,
went away quick as fuck like that.
it did. It did. It zipped away. It's just like I just saw that, and then I got on a train. So that's it. You know. It's
You
just
got on the exact opposite of that.
yeah. Oh yeah. 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 I wish I was on it. Honestly.
You're like, damn, dude, I could get cross country pretty quick on that thing, huh?
Fucking hell yeah, I could have.
That shit's probably just went over where I'm going.
Yeah, they should have picked me up since I was probably the only human that fucking saw it that day.
But that is fair, man, because it's like how many people statistically would be looking at that exact spot of sky and then be recording it, and then be recording it, and you'd be able to prove that it's not altered.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It was so far
Especially like
away.
what you
I don't
saw.
think I could have even gotten good like video. It would have just looked like a dust like a little bit of dust on my camera. Like
Yeah,
it was just so far away. It wouldn't have even mattered.
that's another thing too. Is like people are always like, why is it always filled with the worst cameras? A lot of UFO sightings, they're not filled with horrible cameras. It's just some shit up in the sky that's small. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like you'll see the fucking leaves in perfect 4K, but then it's like, how do you know that's not just a PNG, blurry PNG being moved around? You know,
Mhm.
so it's very easy to discount. But let's see here. What else do I got, guys? What else am I?
No, I think
You think this is good?
yeah,
I'm looking at it. Yeah, I think
we're about an
it don't
hour and
gotta be too
10.
long for. Yeah. Okay, that's right, because your video never stops. Yeah. All right, yeah, let's be cut the video and then cut the audio. All
What the
right.
fuck? You didn't even
What
give an
happened?
outro.
Oh yeah. Oh no.